What's up, everybody? On today's Unbiased Hard Take, the 2025 NFL Draft is over, and may I say it's one of the best drafts of all time because Mark Murphy announced that there was 250,000 estimated people they was hopeful for all 3 days, and there were 600,000 estimated people all 3 days. Every time the Packers picked, it was a Go Pack Go chant. It was loud. There were fans everywhere crawling the place until the very end, and Mr. Irrelevant. There were fans everywhere, and it was great to see. And it wasn't a lot of skyscrapers. It was just a normal looking city in people's yards. And it was kind of different to see and unique. It's not your typical NFL draft you see. And I liked it. And ultimately, since the NFL started expanding the draft outside of New York City, out of that area in 2015, this actually was the second most attended draft since then in the last 10 years. So that is a great, impressive thing for the smallest market in the NFL. On behalf of an owner of the Packers and all Packer owners, I am very thankful of this my organization ultimately, and very proud of what the draft was able to do for the Green Bay Packers, and very, very proud Packer fan today. So ultimately, I think the Packers had a great draft because Mark Murphy came out and even said it himself that the first time since 2002, the Packers drafted a first-round receiver, and we're going to grade the entire at the end of this. I'm going to break down the Packers draft tonight, and I'm just really, really pumped up for this one. This will be a very emotional draft for me, video for me. So ultimately, very proud, but ultimately we got the fastest receiver in the draft with Golden. I mean, I have notes here. Matthew Golden from Texas ran a 4.2 yard, 40 yard dash at the combine, and one of the fastest receivers in the draft. He's a great route runner, and the Packers needed speed. Christian Watson's will probably start on the physically unable to perform list, and isn't going to have a start to the season at all because of his knee injury he suffered. So ultimately, I think we needed speed. And we signed Mecole Hardman, but he's going to be more of a kick returner. I know Packer players, I said they don't really want to do that. Like Keyshawn Nixon, who's been a Pro Bowler and All-Pro in that in the past, said he doesn't really want to do that anymore. He wants to play corner, which we're going to need him to. So to get some speed, because Hardman's going to be on special teams, and maybe some depth at receiver, hopefully. But Golden, with Jaden Reed, I'm excited to see what Romeo Doubs and them can do. Dontayvion Wicks, Tucker Kraft, obviously Luke Musgrave, hopefully can get back on track next season off that injury. He came back late last year, but hopefully he can come back to full health and be back to what he was. And I'm really excited for that. And then really, this was a very, very heavy offensive draft of the first 2 days of the draft, and then today was more defense. But top of the draft is all offense, because then Anthony Belton from NC State. You can't have too many offensive linemen. Yeah, we have Banks now. We signed in free agency, and Morgan from last year, first round pick. Belton this year. Overall rank was actually, they gave him a grade of 73. And 336 pounds, 6'6". He started 3 years and had a really, really strong Senior Bowl. He blocks relentlessly. Zach Tom on the offensive line. Rasheed Walker was going to be obviously still on the roster as well. And we're going to move over Elton Jenkins to center. So because we signed the 49ers guard and Banks. So Packers don't have another strong offensive line, another good offensive lineman there. Top 10 in this class. I had him ranked 8th in the offensive lineman. And then number 3, another receiver from TCU, Savion Williams. He's very versatile. He's kind of like a Deebo Samuel type of player. I mean, he did have a drop problem. I will say that's kind of concerning, but so did Devontae Adams early in his career for the Packer fans who can go back that far. So overall, he's going to be more of a Jaden Reed type of player, I think, or Deebo Samuel, where you can kind of even pitch in the ball, hand him off to the backfield, do a little sweep or something like that, and you can throw to him too. I mean, so he's really a versatile, just a good football player. And then again after that, I said the Packers needed an edge rusher. I said they just took Mike Green out of Marshall, but ultimately they decided to go receiver, which is more of a sexy pick. But I think the Packers needed a pass rusher, and I'm actually looking at the notes here. Who did Mike Green get drafted by? Yep, actually by the Ravens. So that's a good pickup by them. I really was hoping that at the top of the first round for the Packers, but ultimately that did not come to play. And the Packers did end up getting Baron Sorrell, edge rusher, and obviously later on in the draft as well with Conan Oliver from Oklahoma State. But I mean, I wish we could have addressed that a little earlier. I really, really do, because Lucas Van Ness has been a struggle at best so far. Rashawn Gary is a good second pass rusher. He's a good Robin. He's not Batman, if you see what I'm picking at there. And I mean, Baron Sorrell did have a great combine. I mean, defensive with 28 reps in bench press and strength on tape. I mean, I'm looking at my notes here, right here, and on my computer here. He's top heavy. That's his issue. I worry about his ability to affect in the run. Again, you can see my breakdown on Facebook. Link to that will be in the description down below also. So I wish we could have addressed edge rusher a little bit, because Oliver, I mean, he primarily ended up on edge in college, but he'll play off the ball in the NFL. I don't see him being a full-time player in the NFL. He'll be on certain downs. He's a disruptive run defender, 15.5 tackles and 20 for a loss last season, 2024, and he can beat blockers and quick enough at the point of attack. But the thing is, he doesn't really have any moves. Again, more breakdown on my Facebook page. To all that, link to that in the description down below for me and JB. Watch out for his video on the Steelers and more coverage on the NFL draft. But I worry about his ability and some of his. He doesn't really have a lot of technique, and he kind of relies on his hands more so. And I'm concerned a little bit with that. Again, kind of lack of production in the sack area, especially. A lot of tackles for loss, but not really effective in the sack area. And then, of course, Warren Brinson at defensive tackle, and then you wrap up with Micah Robinson at corner and John Williams at offensive tackle again, which was that complementary pick. So he started 27 games at left tackle. He was very inconsistent, but he had some good tape as well, but some really horrendous tape also. But 7th rounders, once you get in the late rounds, you're not going to have perfect players. Packers did get more depth at corner. I didn't think we didn't really have to, because of Hobbs we signed from the Raiders. So ultimately, I'm typing all this up, and you know, I'm going to give the Packers a B+ for their draft here. I think they ultimately had a very, very good draft. Again, like I said, I wish they would have addressed edge rusher a little bit sooner in this draft period here. Like I said, I wanted Mike Green from Marshall. I thought he was really the best player on at least on my board personally. Golden was actually the 3rd best player on my board at the time, behind Shadur Sanders, and that's a different topic for a different day. Yeah, me and JB are going to cover that together sooner than you may think. So keep in tab for all that stuff. I give the Packers a B+. Again, that's my criticism. I'm a very fair guy. They have plenty of weapons, plenty of offensive line depth. Josh Jacobs in the backfield. I mean, we addressed corner and free agency, like we talked about today a little bit in past videos. Offensive line was addressed free agency. I'm really, really excited to see what this Packer team is going to be able to do. So, and Jaire Alexander's still on the team right now. The draft's over. I mean, we're getting ready to get into practices and mini camps and voluntary stuff. So, I mean, he's still on the roster. And we'll see. Well, ultimately, maybe he'll stay on the team. That'd be great. I mean, ultimately, you don't have to pay him regardless. So, again, that's all I got. I'm giving the Packers a B+. Watch out for JB's video and more content coming out. Again, like, subscribe, hit the bell. That's on Facebook. Sports Fact of the Day, all that good stuff. Again, that's all I got. Until next time, go Pack, go. Draft was great. That was amazing. Blow her up, and let's go Heat, baby. We'll cover that a little bit here sooner than you may think also. Down 3-0, it isn't looking too good. It looks like we're going to get swept. Me and JB were talking about that tonight. Kind of a last note there. So, still proud, got in the playoffs. Maybe never give up. We still got more games to play. We'll see what comes in game 4. Until next time.